Hello, my name is Chris Boxall. I'm co-founder of Fundamental Asset Management, and welcome to this second weekly update on news from AIM and the main market as well, occasionally, on the day that actually AIM celebrates its 25th birthday. 19th of June 1995, AIM kicked off, only 10 small companies, and it's had a cracking time since, really. It's now a market with 800 odd companies, 832, I think, end of May. A few more may have fallen by the wayside in June, given the struggles. But 100 billion value at the end of May, probably even more now in June, because AIM's largest company, Boohoo, has share price has risen strongly over the last month. But AIM, I think we should be celebrating what a huge success it's been and the fantastic returns it's brought for many investors who have been willing to really do their research and look at companies closely. I mean, many private investors that I speak to, the ISA millionaires of the world, have actually generated all their returns through AIM, not on the main market. And I think news from this week really illustrates the variety on offer on AIM. We kicked off the week with an announcement from Best of the Best, runs a spot the ball competition, started off in airports. Best of the Best's valuation has soared 3 times. It's now £130 million business. We'll return to that in a few minutes. But after the Best of the Best, we've had Cakebox Holding, that's egg-free cakes. We've had iDocs Software Group, Eco, a secure payments provider, Team 17, a video gaming group, whose shares we hold in our AIM portfolios, Sigma Capital, another one we hold and followed a lot over the years. A residential developer in the private rented sector, which looks in great shape. Water Intelligence, that's leak detection, largely in the US, a somewhat elderly business. Boohoo announced this week, fabulous update, top line growth soaring still despite the lockdown. It's acquiring other brands with its huge cash pile. Boohoo looks in big shape. And it's interesting, we also had this week Hornby and Blue Prism. Hornby, well known for model railways, been around, I think it's been 100 years since Frank Hornby created his model railway business. Blue Prism, robotic process automation. I mean, you couldn't have two such varied companies. I mean, both opposite ends of the technology spectrum. And then we've had a week which was really, really positive for AIM this week, a week of COVID-19 related pharma and biotech groups announcing. We had Avacta, Net Scientific, Novocyte, Synergen, and these businesses that they were absolutely unloved last year. Well, they have been for years, and suddenly they're finding their voice and attracting a lot of investor interest. A lot of money's been going into them in the development of COVID-19 tests and also the research and development towards vaccines. So I think this little selection just this week really illustrates the huge variety on offer on AIM and the potential it can bring. Returning to Best of the Best, it also reflects the problems with AIM and smaller quoted companies. Best of the Best, lovely little business, has been chugging along for many years. We actually invested at IPO and foolishly haven't held on, haven't been patient enough. Mind you, that was a long time ago. I really didn't think it was doing much. Basic concept, spot the ball, win a luxury car. It was largely being promoted at airports. So you used to see those displays of cars encouraged you to buy a ticket and have a punt. And Best of the Best has really turned into a phenomenal business. It's moved away from the airports and is now very much online. It's totally online. Great margins, great cash flow. It seemed to really hit its niche, very strong position. And however, it's 80% owned by family founders, directors, and one other shareholder. So realistically, the market capitalization is minuscule. It's a 5 million market cap. Well, no, a 10 million market cap masquerading as 100+ million market capitalization business. Very, very hard to buy the shares. So it's hard to determine what the true value is based on its current share price. So I don't think the stock market's price on this business is really a fair reflection. But what happened? Best of the Best announced great numbers early at first, first day of the week, and a few days later they announced they received takeover interest. And it'll be fascinating to see now where that goes, to see what is the market price for this business. But lovely little business is developed on AIM, but we question why it bothers remaining on the market. It's had no need for extra capital. It's been buying back shares. It had a tender offer last year. So questionable presence on the stock market, and it looks like it may not actually be with us on AIM much longer. But AIM, fabulous market, really supportive of small companies. It's a pity we're not seeing more of those smaller ones, slightly earlier stage businesses that we used to see. It's now a market of more a mature business, reflecting the fact you've got 18 billion pound plus companies. But to my mind, to outperform in the UK, if you really want to be focused on UK stocks, you've got to really look at AIM, because that's where the growth is coming from. You're not finding, there are obviously exceptions. There are some great companies on the main market, Games Workshops for one, which we hold, but you're not finding the same growth opportunities on the main market that you can find on AIM, and with a huge variety, lots of technology on AIM as well. Main market's largest technology company was for a long time Sage Group. I think it probably still is, or you could say RELX is a technology play now. But you get loads of software and technology exposure on AIM, and lots of growth as well. And if you're really your only viable alternative to that sort of growth, in my opinion, is to look overseas on the US market. And some investors are uncomfortable, wrongly, I think, because I think the market, the world's your oyster. You should go where you see the opportunity. But AIM offers some great opportunity. And in this week, where it's celebrating its 25th birthday, earlier in the week, we had there has been press reports of the tax reliefs being withdrawn. Well, there's no truth or basis for this from Treasury. I mean, the Treasury's been supportive. However, we've been managing an AIM for inheritance tax planning for 16 years, and this issue has come up every year, sometimes twice a year. If anything, tax reliefs have been enhanced. However, they might be withdrawn. Who knows? And it's clear they weren't there to support very large multi-billion-pound companies. Although saying that, some of those multi-billion-pound companies, in terms of market capitalization, are still actually raising new money. So conceivably, the tax reliefs are a benefit to them and will be helpful to investors. But we discuss this regularly in the office, and I think the greatest risk to AIM is probably withdrawal of inheritance tax entirely, or a change to the tax rules, rather than a tinker with the business relief rules. But we'll see. I mean, who knows? At this time, what's pretty clear is corporate Britain needs as much help as it can get. And by encouraging investors to put money into growth companies is very helpful for the economy. And it will certainly do a lot more than tinkering with a relatively minor relief. I mean, inheritance tax is a real tiddler. It contributes 0.85% of the overall tax take. It's an absolute tiddler. And rather than worry with that, let's really get behind growth, get behind some of these AIM companies. Enhance the tax relief, make it more attractive for people who are sitting on piles of cash to support real growth, which will be great. Anyway, that's it for this week. Next week, we'll bring another huge variety of news from AIM, but probably, as I say, pick of the day this week was best of the best, and that one is really worth following, and we'll see where it ends up. Thanks very much for watching. If you want any more information, visit our website, fundamentalasset.com, and go to the News and Insights tab, where there are lots of regular blogs. For a lot of this news that's been reported that I'm covering today, our Investors Champion site, investorschampion.com, has lots of that. It's covering all the coronavirus updates, impact on companies. So visit investorschampion.com, which is associated with our firm, for a more in-depth look at some smaller company announcements.